Good evening, Speed Gaming fans, and welcome to a very special edition on Monday night, a round two matchup in the Super Metroid Randomizer Mystery Tournament. This one should be a doozy. We have 3 seed in the bracket mm2nescartridge and 14 seed in the bracket Zeb316. My name's DJ Webb, and I will be bringing you this best of three series tonight, along with JXB, Adam on tracking, and TG Derp along with me on the mic. How's it going?
Pretty good. I'm excited to watch a race of this caliber so early. I think Zeb, one of the players who ended up a little bit underseeded coming into the playoffs, and as a result, we're seeing a race between the two players that, honestly, I think were the favorites to win the tournament going into the playoffs, at least. So one of these two is going to be bowing out here in the round of 16, which is definitely disappointing, but I think we are going to have a really exciting race on our hands, and I'm excited to watch.
I think that you definitely would not have penciled one of these two to not even make the top 8 for sure. I think M2 might have been seeded 8th, if not a little bit higher, and Zeb was 2. So, like you said, expected these two to definitely both make it past this round. But the way brackets work, if you meet in the round of 16, one of you does have to go home. So, definitely going to be high octane. Like you said, the way this bracket worked out, those top 3 seeds who all got a bye, none of them probably like their matchup that they got in the next round. You also contributing to that, but here we are underway with the mystery tournament, and the first couple pieces of information we have: full countdown for our item split, a starter charge of some form, and 5-3 in criteria. That's a pretty large number for both of those, frankly.
Yeah, I know both MM2 and Zeb are not fans of full countdown at all, so it's kind of funny that our best of 3 is starting off with a full countdown seed right away. But yeah, 5 majors is a lot in criteria. It definitely makes some of the more out-of-the-way plays, such as potential Billy Mays, a little bit more enticing, since, if you spike a really good major there, like a speed, ice, or a charge, you're feeling good. But obviously, that's not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed they'll have power bombs anyways, so we'll see what we find here early.
Yep, so get a vanilla morphball. I very much prefer that in full countdown, especially with numbers like this. I know little inside information. 2 things. One, MM2 goes right first instead of down. I'm pretty sure Zeb's a down first. But MM2 also just doesn't check Billy Mays for reasons that exist. We'll see if they have that opportunity, but if we get a powerbomb over here, definitely potential for Zeb to go up, and MM2 almost certainly isn't, to my knowledge. So let's see. No drama.
Yeah, nothing super interesting. No power bombs kind of sucks because you don't get to check the portal and don't get to check the behind morph item, which could be non-trivial, especially in a vanilla map. It is pretty hard to get back. Well, I guess it's not too hard to get back to that, but it can be kind of weird.
Yeah, the one that's the hardest to get back to is the old Mother Brain. That's basically a dead item unless you have some really funky situations that make you want to come back from the bottom of criteria to the top, which is very unlikely. But I have called a race featuring Zeb where that did happen at SGL. So we'll see how this goes. Like we said, 2 very good runners, and as you see at the beginning of this race, they're very close to each other right now. It's like a second.
Yeah, I think funny enough, Zeb started his timer and didn't actually start the game until about a second later. So even with that, still a few frames ahead at the moment. But obviously it is very early. Both these runners are very good at the game, but I think the few second advantage one may have in the early game is not going to make a huge difference in this race.
Yeah, generally I would give the mechanical advantage very slightly to MM2, but that's it's so negligible that it really doesn't matter. And the other thing about that, and Zeb's probably the poster child for this, is that you can show someone who has a mechanical advantage over someone, and then you play rando, and the person who goes for the more consistent strats is typically gonna average out at least on par, if not better, because the person who has the wider breadth of strats at their disposal is gonna go for the harder ones and maybe not hit them. But there's our power bomb. Nice to see.
Yeah, I would actually give him to a pretty noticeable gap in execution. MM2 has been grinding not only this rando, but also a lot of vanilla categories. In the N% tournament as well, I believe Ran a couple 44s in the tournament so far, if I'm not mistaken, including the qualifiers. But yeah, Zeb is no slouch, of course. Both runners look like they are gonna be sticking together for now, both taking the power bombs down here to 230 to check this item. Still 3 more majors to find, as well as 3 E-tanks. That would be nice to have exiting criteria. There's a Spazer Beam, which is alright. It's a nice firepower upgrade, but without any charge upgrades, it's still not a huge beam improvement. So the E-tanks are still eluding us for now.
With the limited resources we have, pretty much you're just gonna go left, pick up that Terminator item. I expect you probably scout the Bakugan items in no small part because you get a +1 power bomb out of that, but not going to be too many more items collected in criteria immediately. The spring ball is definitely nice. Phaser, especially with the starter charge. Like you said, the beam upgrade isn't super good, but especially early, makes killing these really weak enemies really easy. You don't have to stop and shoot multiple times and stuff like that, or aim differently. But these runners have been trading this positional lead back and forth quite a bit. And double E at the back of Gauntlet.
There's where all the energy is hiding.
That is certainly something.
Yeah, unfortunately, we probably aren't getting back to that anytime soon. Especially not with the vanilla map.
This has been quite the interesting little what's the word I'm looking for? Case study here in the first round-ish of the mystery tournament. Feels like there's been a lot of vanilla map. You as well had a double vanilla map series, pretty sure.
I did have a 2 vanilla map series earlier, and there's been a lot of vanilla map and a lot of surprise, actually. Both feel like they've been showing up pretty disproportionately in playoffs. So definitely something that all of our playoff contestants have had to adjust to.
You had the double vanilla map. I had a surprise, which also included 3 Dragons in my seed, so it's been some fun things to see. This Green Brinstar, a lot less stacked. The same amount of E-tanks, but only 1 major in Green Brinstar. It's really kind of awkward, because on one sense, the E-tanks are probably pretty good, especially because you just left 3 behind, 2 of which you know are at the back of Gauntlet. So if you want to do some Norfair stuff without the various suit, the E-tanks you want, but only 1 major is kind of like, you'd probably rather not do some of these checks, but already 2 of the energy tanks really nice here.
Yeah, it's nice that these E-tanks are showing up early. Hopefully the major shows up early as well, which would allow the runners to skip some of the slower checks on the right side of Pink Bryn, over in Big Pink. Because those can take some time, doing them all one at a time. That's... If you don't need to do them, you really don't want to.
It's another thing that starter charge allows you to do. Green Brinstar, if you want to start skipping a lot of those, you're probably lowering the total number of miners you're going to be running into in a convenient way in the seed. So starter charge makes it so that as long as you get some kind of decent enough beam, you're probably going to be okay. There definitely been races where even with a little bit of a beam upgrade, you really just want to go for that ammo. A 40 damage charge beam, for example. I was commentating a race where someone ended with that, and they had like 10 supers and needed 375 charge shots plus their supers to end the fight, which is a lot if you are counting.
With no ammo, this is a 450 shot fight. So probably not going to be seeing the runners take that into any of the late game bosses, but we've still got a ways to go until we get to that point, so it's all right. Find some more power bombs. A little bit missile heavy so far, which is technically what is supposed to happen, but I think both of us have seen plenty of seeds that just have a ton of power bombs or a ton of supers, and in a seed like this, you kind of want to see a bunch of supers early. Even with the starter charge, I feel like.
For sure. We get pretty interesting here. M2 accidentally left that power bomb a little early, but how you handle Big Pink in this kind of situation is kind of, especially a vanilla map, I don't really have like set plays for how I do this. It's just kind of how you're feeling at the time, because if you've seen a 100% run, there's a definite fastest way to do this. You would like to have the high jump boots for the Mission Impossible strat, But you can elect to do basically the 3 in-room items first and then kind of disperse outwards. You can do, this is what MM2 is looking at, more of the 100% style, and Zeb's actually coming here early as well. Rewarded with the major immediately, that's nice.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what I've done the last few times I've gotten a full countdown seed was check all the 3 in-room items and then clear Big Pink like counterclockwise from like Spore Spawn to Wavegate to this here Mission Impossible. So that would have gotten a little bit punished in this seed, but the runners both decided to go straight to Mission Impossible, got that grapple beam, and we'll probably not bother too much with anything else. Obviously going to check the rest of the in-room items.
Especially with that tank found, yeah.
Yeah, we'll actually get the last E-Tank as well, so nothing good hiding at Spore Spawn or Wavegate. We'll probably see the runners check the tube, and we'll see if either runner actually wants to go check behind Morph. There are 2 more majors in Criteria, so it's not an unreasonable play, but it looks like both runners going to skip it for now.
I was going to say in the final week, MM2 did elect to check just that Blue Burn Star Power Bomb in a seed that was also a vanilla map full countdown. I'm sure he's happy that 2 race seeds in a row that have happened to him, but Zeb is actually going to end up doing that. He didn't lay that power bomb early, which is slight time loss, but very slight. We did get another reserve, so those 3 tanks we did not get in Criteria. Not feeling super bad right now because we've got 5 total. Gotta fill up that final one. Oh, Zeb's power bomb. Ooh, that could be important.
Yeah, that is definitely a big find.
1 of 2.
The starter plus makes it a little bit less of a big find, but it's still definitely a non-zero thing for Zeb. Looks like the Red Burn Star for MM2, and soon Zeb will not have any majors or E-Tanks, so we aren't going to see any of these extraneous checks like X-Ray. MM2 did opt to check the Spazer since it is right here, and more ammo is still appreciated on these early stages of the game, but looks like we're probably just going over to Crade. See if MM2 wants to just go down to Business Center first.
Ooh,
that's definitely
doing the play I like to do, scouting this West Meridian number. See if this is profitable. Is that 3-1? Wow, I would call that profitable.
Yeah, with the grapple beam, there are things in logic with a potential high jump. The grapple beam and spring ball actually allows you to traverse to the top of the area from Main Street, so then you can get items like the crab supers and mama turtle falling back down.
Yeah, high jump will put every item in West Meridian in logic, save the Main Street missile. That one you do need gravity for, as well as the speed booster. We have neither, but 0-0 Crade. We're going to be happy to come down here to Upper North Fair. Pretty nice. Hopefully you get at least one of the 4 things over here, especially an E-Tank after this Ice Hell run, which I expect they're both going to do early. Would be very nice.
Yeah, definitely want to do the Ice Hell run early here in case an E-Tank pops and nothing else leads you anywhere else. Like, for example, if you found a gravity, you're probably going right back into into West Meridian at that point. There's an E-Tank, so both runners are going to be having to jump across Crumble Shaft to get it.
Yeah, this is eerily similar. I was talking about that final race of the Swiss Porsche for MM2. Again, it was vanilla map, it was full countdown. He was facing Nevdi, a teammate of Zeb's. And there was an E-Tank exactly there, and I believe MM2 did this first, as both of these runners did, but Nevdi did it after Ice Beam, which is technically superior, but extremely low % for that exactly to happen. But twice in a row now. These are some strange mirrorings that are happening. Also want to point out with that high jump that could be found putting a bunch of West Meridian knowledge, Zeb did not check that number, so he would not know just how good it would be to find the gravity suits or high jump, which is what we have here. This could be massive if Zeb decides to stay at the Hell runs.
Yeah, I think... I mean, MM2 is going to check high jump, and then if it's not... If it's an E-Tank, might keep going down, probably not. But if not, definitely just going to go back into Meridia. We'll see what Zeb decides to do, though, without that knowledge. That was what allowed Zeb to catch up a little bit after MM2 pulled a slight early lead based off a little bit better movement and skipping the check at Retrobrin, the behind morph.
For sure. We'll see. Me personally, especially from M2's perspective, only Varia is taking me anywhere other than West Meridia. I mean, it's 3+1, and there's 7 total items in West Meridia. It is not a very, very big place as far as item chests are concerned, so that is really, really appetizing, as well as East Meridia could have something, especially with 3 majors. Non-zero chance that you get Ice or Speed to make East Meridia easier. Also, both these runners now going to have 20 power bombs with CF Clip on the table as well.
Yeah, I think
Also,
with this low energy and this many power bombs for CF Clip, Zeb is just going to be going back to Meridia as well. Unless this item is Varia here.
I do like this check. Only a power bomb. Definitely not interested in that right now. Also point out that MM2 has 11 power bombs. Zeb only has 8, so couldn't even Crystal Flash. I think what MM2 is doing is going to use this elevator to check the Kraid boss, and then if it's specifically Release, just reset.
I don't like checking the boss
good.
here, though. To be honest, there's nothing of value. I guess MM2 could be doing that. He could also just be making the save there. So if there's just 3 busts in West Meridia, he can reset back to Upper Norfair, but it's kind of awkward. He does have the Crystal Flash, so wouldn't need to spend a ton of time farming. But no, like you said, MM2 is going to be going to check this boss.
Yeah. Shuffled bosses is the only way this is of any benefit, especially without Speed Booster. Doing this later is not going to be any slower for Zeb, so this is a little bit of an interesting divergence here. I'm very curious to see how this West Meridia turns out. Be a little bit careful. You'll notice that the gravity suit in this randomizer only going to do half enemy damage reduction. There's Varia.
Well, our Varia suit is not accessible yet, and there's a screw attack as well.
We're on a speed hunt, and that is not a good place to be, as again, Zeb needs to be careful.
Zeb did not save. It is worth noting, Zeb did not save.
Yeah, that screw attack is feeling really nice. He would be able to murder everything. Yeah.
He's fine. He's fine.
Yeah, he's definitely fine. As we see a vanilla boss here, likely hinting at overall vanilla bosses, but technically doesn't give you any actual information. Just changes odds, as M2 is not going to. And there's high jump boost, 3rd item. So that's, oh my gosh, that's so interesting and weird and awkward. And like I said, speed is not the item that you want to be looking for, because it can be in criteria, for example. Yes, I'm going to use this grapple, this high jump. Definitely agree with that.
Yeah, gonna get the high jump. I expect him to go up for speed, or not speed, screw as well.
Sure.
And then I kind of wonder, because his health is so low. I guess you can farm power bombs up for a Crystal Flash with all the crabs in Main Street, but I also wouldn't be surprised if Zeb just bails. That was close.
Yeah.
Almost face planted into what would have been a very lethal pirate.
No behind Kraid check at the various suit, but M2 did check the Kraid E-tank. Just a missile. His damage is worse without that charge upgrade, and it's also the case that, again, we are very, very much looking for the speed booster. There are ways around speed for getting that item, which frankly are somewhat on the table. I just want to say that you could blue suit Dragon and use that to come here and get the speed booster. It's kind of a difficult thing to do, and it's also very punishing if you mess it up, for example. But there's a lot of stuff on the table. But I was also going to say, only 1 major outstanding in criteria for Zeb versus 2 for M2 without that charge upgrade. So that is also a possibly a factor at play here as far as where they go next.
Yeah, it's kind of awkward because there's still a couple items in criteria that can't be checked, or a couple locations rather. Like, just can't check the power bomb at landing site, can't check the climb super. So
climb super is less relevant with Varia found exactly where it is, but yeah.
That's true, but it's a little bit awkward. We'll see how thorough Zeb wants to be. I assume he's just going over to ship.
Yeah.
And then obviously we'll check Moat on the way. If he hits exactly speed at Moat, then you just turn around immediately.
For sure. So, be interesting to see how this plays out. I like heads up plays by both of them. MM2 took the energy refill at the Kraid's layer. That was really nice. Zeb did that top of West Meridia farm that you see in lots of vanilla categories, it can be pretty useful. So energy in a better place. Final E-Tank found.
There's actually only
Another
one
two.
criteria item, one criteria major left. Remember, Zeb actually got the charge upgrade. I forgot about that as well.
So what does ship have for us? 2-2. There's a very nice jump to see a missile there. And Zeb also doesn't know that this is pretty likely to be Phantoon, given I think you said it before, like you see one boss that's vanilla, it makes the chances like 2/3 overall that the seed is vanilla bosses, something like that.
That sounds right.
So,
But yeah,
pretty
we'll
likely
see.
that. Well, if this boss doesn't open the ship, then Speed's in Norfair, whether it's Upper Norfair proper or Croc. Or, well, no, there's still that one major. Yeah, this things could definitely get real awkward here, but I expect, especially because Shuffle Boss is only 30 out of the total 100%, you're unlikely to be in a scenario where the boss here doesn't open up the wreck ship, but everything is still on the table.
It's a power bomb. Zeb was really hoping for one of these items to be a super, just because the only bad thing here for Zeb is exactly Ridley, because he can't really do it even with all these E-tanks. And to be fair, neither can MM2. Just doesn't quite have the supers for it.
No heat shield, no gravity heat reduction. So we are, yeah. You would have to use power bomb suitless, which is like never a good feeling. It's also
Yeah, you'd
really
have to use
slow.
like 2 or 3, because you still need more ammo to open the doors.
Yep.
So you're only entering with 22 supers.
I guess I should also mention we have not seen East Meridia. We don't know what that count is, and although speed is one of the ways that you get through the East Meridia into the boss, you can check what's that? 2, 4, 6, 7 items without the boss or getting through Batoon. So yeah, as expected, wreck ship is Phantoon.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been shocked if either player decided to go for the CF clip and just go straight into East. Obviously, both of these runners are very skilled. They are both very practiced at CF clip, but they would have to do the suitless version without bombs. Unless either one's practiced the spring wall setup, which not a lot of top runners do. Most just practice the bomb CF clip and then the suitless. Would have been kind of sketchy, so neither runner decided to do that now, instead both going up here to ship. But it could have been a play that we saw. It wouldn't have been too surprising.
For certain. M2 has caught up positionally to Zeb, as well as having... the eye closes were a little bit trolly, especially on M2 side, but Zeb also got an invisible cycle here in the first round. But with Kraid already being dead for M2, kind of in the lead-ish right now, but it's really hard to say, especially until we find speed, or again, if someone decides to do one of those really advanced plays to try and get Varia without speed. Let's see how this one goes. Probably the biggest inflection point here in the wreck ship is that E-Tank location. It is a one-off versus everything else in the area being on the other path, but it's a little risky to leave that behind, especially because of how long some of the checks take, like bowling, for example. Where are those bombs?
Yeah, not the item you're hoping for. Tracy pointing out in chat, wanted to double check with you if it is accurate. We actually know this is not vanilla bosses because the wreck ship save was on.
I thought that Matt said that they were on in Mystery Seeds no matter what, but I wouldn't swear to that.
I also thought that. That was why I wanted to clarify it was coming from chat, because I was not sure. But we will see.
Definitely a possibility. It's also with the surprise option. There doesn't need to be a Phantoon, or doesn't need to be a Ridley or a Dragon, technically. That could
it could just be 3 vanilla bosses and then like another crate or something along those lines.
So definitely something to think about. We'll see if that potential information reveals itself to be potentially true or not true or anything in between, basically. But yeah, I do approve of this going to Wreck Ship E-Tank first, especially finding the one major. If the other major's here, you end your Wreck Ship play right now, versus if you went the other way and it's here, you're just kind of searching
Man.
forever. But it is a power bomb here, which Zeb is continuing to pick up.
It's so tempting to just go to East Meridia here, but the odds of this or the item in criteria being speed booster are so high that you really want to keep going. This is such an awkward situation. This is one of the things I do like about Full Countdown, and honestly, it's not nearly as fun being the one playing it because there's a lot of decisions and none of them are really objectively correct. So it's just kind of a coin flip, but there's so many things Zeb and MM2 could be doing, and we'll see which ones they decide to do.
I'll point out with our knowledge, so we have starter plus chart, so that adds one major to the vanilla amount, which is 16. So there are at least 4 more majors in the seed. The numbers we don't know are Lower Norfair, which definitely doesn't have speed, and then East Meridia and Crocomire. So those are some things you could be keeping in mind. It's also the case that if double jump and or heat shield are in the game, those are also going to increase those numbers. So potentially even more than those 4 outstanding that we don't know about yet. So like you said, it's in Aurora's shoes, it's a little bit, like you said, it's scary, it's awkward, it's weird, you don't really know what to do, but from my perspective, Randomizer is about the decisions you make, so having these difficult decisions is kind of fun, although you don't want to be wrong, but that's kind of always true.
I'm interested to see how Zeb checks Sky Missile. Wonder if he's going to do the wall jump, the map rando strat.
I was also going to say, interesting to note that you could check the Workshop Reserve. If that was the major, you could just leave. But is this a tripper? I think that's the name of the enemy. It's awkward to wall jump off of it, so he missed that. But thankfully, with high jump and spring ball, can spring ball jump back up and now be in a good spot. And
just a power bomb now.
That item. We've seen a lot of power bombs here.
MM2's actually made up a little bit of ground from not picking up all these power bombs. Zeb actually already scouted that, I'm pretty sure, so...
He did, for sure.
Just double checking.
So, whether or not it is obtainable, this last Wreck Ship major is behind bowling.
And another small time save from MM2 to get the wall jump second try. Didn't have to menu the spring ball.
It's borderline a medium time save given the 2 pauses that Zeb had to do.
Yeah, it's not trivial. Remember that Zeb has not fought the crate boss yet, so even though he is holding a slight lead, that isn't really a real time save.
The realest part of his lead is the double charge beam damage, honestly. That is, especially with the very, very lack of both missiles and supers, frankly, that could play a big part, especially like if speed's early, as far as what we find, like speed's here, for example, or the bowling item, I like this check first. I think I would have, it probably doesn't matter which order you pick that up in now or on the way out, but definitely gonna look at it.
It is ever so slightly faster to pick it up on the way out, since you're closer to the door.
50-50 chance this major isn't even attainable, but that would definitely make it not speed. And it is unobtainable.
Yeah.
I think
there's no reason to even check because it's not speed. So you don't really care.
So, really unfortunate. Basically bust of a wreck ship. You did get the bombs to make a potential CF clip easier. But yeah, there was a lot of time. And you didn't even up, like, Ridley is still really difficult now. Like, we came in here with 25-25 and we left with 25-25 on Zeb's side, at least. M2 does have an extra missile.
Yeah, we were mentioning how the ammo was shaking out early. A lot of missiles and a little bit of supers and power bombs, which is technically what you can expect, but since then it's kind of been all power bombs. We've seen so many.
Yeah. We were talking about this prereq ship, but we got those bombs. So this is now obtainable, this landing site power bomb.
Yeah, and both runners actually still following each other, which is kind of crazy to me. We'll see if either runner wants to go to Billy Mays. We might see like a front of gauntlet check into backing out and then going down Parlor to like Old Mother Brain and Billy Mays. Especially on MM2's side, since MM2 hasn't seen that charge upgrade.
For sure. And it's also the case, especially on MM2 side, he knows about 2 vanilla bosses. Skipping Varia, pretty difficult, more than likely, with Vanilla Ridley probably looming in Lower Warfare. So those 2 E-Tanks at the back of Gauntlet, not really on your mind right now. Yeah, no. If MM2 could double bomb jump, he probably would have taken the positional lead. But yeah, like you said, here we're gonna see more than likely this safe scum in front of Gauntlet, and if it's not a good enough item.
You say those 2 E-Tanks don't matter, but we have a lot of energy. We're already 7+2. We have 2 crystal flashes. Obviously, like the Ridley fight is a little bit too shambles, as MM2 takes the lead due to the not saving a ship. But I think the reset will be slightly faster out, technically.
And also refilled Zeb's resources, which could be non-trivial. After this, I mean, like we said, they keep following each other. Wow, both charge upgrades were in criteria. I think and Zeb is proving me wrong.
Yeah, Zeb is getting these 2 E-Tanks. Is he just going down Green Brenda?
That's so interesting.
Yeah, this is really bad for MM2 actually, because MM2 is probably going to be last locationing behind Morph. Like it is very likely that MM2, checks Old Mother Brain, goes right for Billy Mays before going left for behind Morph, since that's the way you want to leave. And so, yeah, Zeb is actually going to be making up significant time and get this big energy lead. So there's a real chance that we just see Zeb go straight into Norfair from here. With all this energy, this is a lot.
The lower Norfair, like I said, the lower Norfair itself is fine. You've got high jump, you've got screw attack. You're not really worried about stuff there. Ridley, I don't think you're doing Ridley right now.
Yeah, you really want more supers for the Ridley fight, but
you could hedge some kind of if you just go into Upper Norfair right now for Zeb, and you try to hope that the supers that probably exist in the remainder of the seed are in Upper Norfair, you could skip that various suit. But
yeah, and I think running across criteria here, which Zeb is doing, is a little bit better. MM2 actually going to make a big play to check this before Billy Mays, and will get rewarded.
Yeah, that's going to tighten these right back up. I think Zeb's probably going to be down Red Tower first, almost for certain, but again, he still has to kill Kraid.
Yeah, I mean, Zeb lost a lot of time getting those E-Tanks, but that will let Zeb potentially go into Lower Norfair. At this point, speed popping in Upper Norfair is like the worst possible case for Zeb, because if it does, then he just got that. He got those 2 E-Tanks and did the long backtrack back to the ship for nothing. Essentially,
it was way closer in. M2 had already done the elevator, so M2 is actually already positionally in the lead. Also, I was talking about the realest part of Zeb's lead being the double damage he has. That no longer exists, so Kraid is pure time that MM2 has to give here.
Yeah, so again, if we do find the speed in Upper Norfair, MM2 will just go straight back for it.
It's none of them chooses Upper Norfair.
Why did Zeb get those E-Tanks then? What is he doing?
If you CF clip and just kill Dragon and you find supers here, that also is fine for speed not showing up. There's everything that can happen from here is just kind of weird, right? Like that's where we are, and I have no idea what's gonna happen as MM2 is electing to grapple jump here, which is definitely faster than these gravity jumps if you do them as well as MM2 did.
Yeah, I don't know. I really disagree with Zeb going all the way to get those 2 E-Tanks and then just not going into Lower Norfair, or at least going into Norfair in general.
So we found 2 of our at least 4 remaining majors are here in East Meridia. M2 saving early. I like doing Aqueduct before the save, but you're pretty much the only thing that really matters is speed. So I kind of understand MM2's save, because if you find nothing here and then you find nothing in a sandpit, resetting is completely fine. And this matters a lot. X-ray we don't really care about. We are going to collect on Zeb's side. Expect M2 to also collect. But yeah. We have one more major in this whole big, huge, ginormous East Meridia.
We've got our first big divergence here. Zeb going straight for the crystal flashes, while MM2 going to be searching the sand pits.
Yeah, and Zeb has to damage all the way down. It's nice that his current energy was full, so we can get rid of those reserves easily. That's one other thing I'll mention about that ship refill that Zeb did. His power bombs are full, and he had 35 of them. Looked like double missile in the left sand pit.
It was a missile and an E-tank.
Ah, okay. So Zeb down to 9 energy. He needs to do this crystal flash clip. See how quickly he can
get the first try, of course. Interestingly, MM2 only checked one sand pit and then is going straight for these CF clips now. Only has 3 attempts at it though, so it's a little bit awkward, especially if he's not able to get it quickly. This could be a spot where Zeb gains a lot of time.
Very, very nice supers in here to clean up Batoon rather quickly. And yeah, as a top runner yourself, you can probably attest to a lot of people saying that the bomb CF clip feels a whole lot more consistent and you're much more comfortable going for it in a situation like this. So another reason that MM2 definitely needed that save regardless of safe scumming items. And yeah, double first try. He was perfectly comfortable and with good reason.
I will say, if this is a Ridley here, this is still a really awkward fight for both, but Zeb having more energy is going to be non-trivial. That was a fast Batoon, by the way, for MM2. Holy.
Super, super duper fast. Very nicely done. Yeah. Zeb definitely preparing for the idea of a Ridley here. Getting everyone's favorite farm here. Shout out to the grapple beam. I was being sarcastic. That farm is somewhat notorious, especially in low ice, for not giving you supers at a clip that you would like. But holy cow, M2's start was very nice.
Yeah, MM2 is getting a lot of super drops. Well, I say it and then they start drying up for a bit.
The farm heard me talking smack, and it was like, you weren't familiar with my game. You gotta watch me work over here. This is going quite a bit better, I want to say, for MM2. Yeah, like as you can see, Zeb very, very much preparing for Ridley here. He doesn't know about the second vanilla boss like MM2 does, so a little bit more likely from his perspective that this is not a Dragon. There's also potentially that thing we were talking about with the save potentially signaling to us that this maybe isn't Dragon, or that the bosses aren't completely vanilla. We're gonna have to see how this goes. And yeah, Zeb picks up his first missile since like Green Brinstar or something insane.
These miners are so bad. This has been really rough.
Those are really, really
but
nice.
We'll only need one power bomb for a Ridley fight here, as long as it double hits and everything else connects. But looks like we are not seeing a Ridley.
It's Dragon.
That is good news.
Both of them prepared for it, so the only time gained or lost from that kind of play was farm luck, which is not something that is in your control. So yeah, we've got the grapple beam, so more than likely we're not going to see any real time differences on this fight. You're just going to blast the first round with charge and probably some of your ammo, and then hopefully get a quick goop phase and grapple kill this shrimp. And there it is, first one for Zeb. And yeah, this is the best way to handle this fight with the gravity suit and the grapple beam. On the right to left goop, you want to get the goop early and then get caught by the goop on the left side. If you get the left to right, you just want to stand on the right wall and get gooped there. Much easier on the setup. But very nicely done. See if you can have similar goop luck. It's another part of this that you really can't control, but I will say that from where we are, because ice and speed are the logical items that give you the access to this area, somewhat less likely for behind here versus other areas to have the speed booster, because ice, for example, if ice is in lower Norfair, for example, then speed's definitely the way that you get to Botswoon in that various suit. So be real interested to see. I think Zeb's probably skipping various speed or not, I want to say at this point, unless it's like right sandpit.
The supers are just not showing up. It's so rough.
Yeah, you go into Upper Norfair and you're looking for basically speed / supers, and if you get enough supers, he probably just goes. I don't know. It also depends on what he does regarding Kraid right now, because oh yeah, he's gonna do that now, because if that's Ridley, that will let him just go as well. So I expect he's gonna do that now, and M2 probably takes over the positional advantage, depending on West Meridia item checks from both of them, frankly.
Yeah. The thing about finding Speed Booster here, as MM2 has a slightly errant gravity jump, this is going to sound very silly. The other nice thing about finding Speed Booster, other than the fact that it gets you Varia, is the fact that it gets you Speed Booster. Like, that is going to help the runners a lot. So, like, if Zeb just full commits and MM2 doesn't, spends a couple extra checks to get the Speed Booster and goes back to Varia, it could still just be an advantage, because that gives him so much of a faster lower Norfair without needing to bother with any farms, and it gives him a so much faster movement with the Speed Booster.
Yeah, and a Zeb skip and other things. Yeah, so Zeb did not save, but yeah, look at this. Worry tanks.
And Zeb will take it. This is what, 10 plus 3 now?
Yeah, I think so, because it was reserve at Botswoon tank, I think. Is that right?
Yes, it was a reserve at Botswoon.
M2, this is big because M2 knows left sandpit, so he's definitely going down right. It just makes so much sense to do that.
Yeah, we've got what, right sandpit, plasma, shack tool left.
Yeah, and then it's the Upper Norfair and Croc checks, which between Cathedral and Bubble Mountain, there's 3, 3, 2, 8, and then 5 more at Croc. This has been Kip was talking about this in chat as a seed 1 of a potential 3-game series. This is like exactly what you don't want, because probably from here to the end of the seed, no matter what happens, none of these runners are going to feel particularly great. And
super missile, they're real. They exist.
Again, we've been on 25 supers probably for 15-20 minutes. Yeah, this is one thing I was going to say with Zeb doing this later than MM2 did. I expect he's going to check that minor, which I don't think MM2 did, and also going to check the various suit item, where MM2 is going to shack tool. I did not expect that at all. But again, he's got a lot less energy.
I mean, it's just a 50-50, right? Shack tool or plasma? So he knows. Wait, has he seen a major?
Yeah, the major.
Oh yeah, he's seen X-ray. He's seen X-ray.
For the major, yes, but well, plasma can be speed. It's just that would make it ice locked, which we don't have. Goodness, when I signed up for this, I saw this on the schedule.
It could be like an ice at Upper Norfair, and then that could be the case.
I was gonna say, when I saw this got scheduled, by the way, for those keeping track of the tournament, Zeb won round 1 yesterday, and then he played his round 2 matchup today. If I had to postulate, I know M2's college agent is probably returning to college soon. He wanted to get these out of the way before moving and stuff. That's my guess. But to go from this the series yesterday, Idle, no slouch, but definitely Zeb was favored. There's Plasma Beam.
Oh my god,
that is not anything trivial at all. That is very, very interesting to not be speed or ice, frankly.
Yeah, it feels bad, but that is a pretty significant firepower upgrade over Zeb.
Yeah, holy cow. Yeah, to finish my thought, I was expecting a fun and interesting and very high octane series, and this scene is delivering in all of the ways I would not have expected that to go.
Yeah.
So, the math literate among you will note that that is like 3.75x damage or something like that. I think that math is correct.
That sounds right. Yeah, MM2 heading to Upper Norfair. 3 E-tanks down. Again, non-trivial.
Yeah, and that plasma beam, as well as we were talking about just damage in general. Like if speed's bad and step just goes, like both the super and the plasma, like Ridley's even with 3 fewer tanks, Ridley feels more doable for MM2. It's definitely doable for both of them at this point, but it's literally all of Zeb's projectile ammo if he doesn't use any power bombs, and that's really bad for crystal flashing later. But he's just going. Well, he's definitely not going without a save. But
Could be. Yeah, gonna be checking this more item dense spot here in Bubble Mountain. It's gonna be 3 items here instead of the 2 from the other 3 checks. Unfortunately, just a missile. Zeb picking up his first missile in a while. Because I don't think he picked up the one at
Cathedral. Yeah, I don't think so either.
I was gonna say Aqueduct.
Super E-tank. Wow.
That's really good. That might be enough to send Zeb down.
I want to reiterate that both of us are well aware of Zeb's skills and talent and ability. Even for him, this Lower Norfair is not going to be easy, and it's also not necessarily going to be very fast. Like, it is really hard, especially because of what you've done to get to this point, to not pull the trigger on the Lower Norfair Hall Run for Zeb, but
went back for the super drop and didn't get it in shambles.
Oh, and missed the jump there. So you just, oh my goodness, this is.
I mean, this is not a hard. This is not a hard gravity jump up Gravitron. You don't really need a save. It'll probably be. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he skips the save at the elevator as well, but he'll be fine.
Doing this is very possible, and he's good enough to do it. Of that, I have no doubt. The speed of it, and again, you have to factor in things like if speed is at speed. Getting Varia is kind of far away right now, but it would make things quite a bit better. And there's at least 2 majors at Croc with that 0 found in Lower Norfair, and only 1 energy tank. That's kind of bad. Although in non-major minor seeds, the E-tank is significantly harder to locate potentially than in a major minor seed, for example. So yeah, you would have liked to have seen a bigger.
Nothing in Lower Norfair, by the way.
This is really interesting because MM2, as seen with the Shark Tool play, is committed to finding this speed into Varia, and especially if it's like a grapple beam, that would be really, really far away.
Oh yeah, if MM2 has to go to Croc, it's probably just too slow, but that was actually better than it could have been. Doesn't have to go to Croc, doesn't have to go to Wave. MM2 can head right back.
I think you're supposed to still go in the door because then you
Yeah.
can head back.
I think going through the door would have been faster. At least a little bit.
But he shows us something that you literally never get to see. Running back through this room, taking heat damage without the platforms. This scene is delivered in every way that you would never expect. So
Zeb playing with fire a little bit here. Didn't go back for the health refill. Actually just went straight through. This is kind of tight. If he gets hit by a pirate, he's in big trouble.
He's got the ability to Crystal Flash, and he's definitely going to have to do that one time. Unless exactly Firefly is an E-tank, he can get there before his health completely drains. That would be the most insane thing ever. But yeah, Zeb going to be very, very far positionally ahead. But
yeah, I think you actually let your health drain. Well, I guess there's the spikes here.
Yeah.
Also, don't like using a super instead of a power bomb, but that's okay.
I agree with you there. It's a tank.
I mean, it helps.
Up. Shout outs to 4 out of 4 reserve tanks. Yeah.
Does help.
Galaxy is definitely at peace. He's thinking. I think I would have done this
Okay,
crystal
yeah, just
flash
do the
up
CF in here.
top. I would do it, yeah, up there, not down here where I'm about to crystal flash and kill the rest of these fire fleas and be darker.
Okay.
Area suit obtained. That speed is in a spot where if you had stayed in Upper Norfair, you'd probably be in Turian right now. But with only one additional major, and especially with M2 knowing about the 3 in West Meridia, the West Meridia play at the time for both of them makes a lot of sense. So
yeah.
Debatable
Unfortunately for
how you feel
Zeb, I
about
don't think this lead is enough. With MM2 having the movement advantage and finding that plasma, I don't think this lead is enough for Zeb, unfortunately. I think he really needed speed to be in Croc and MM2 to spend as much time as possible in Upper Norfair before going back for speed.
We're gonna
It's like
see how this
MM2's just going to be going. He's going to have a much faster Lower Norfair.
followed by a much faster Turian. Again, the ammo has been such that you just don't have a bunch of
That super's really big, though.
damage for the end of the game. But yeah, that's actually really big in like every possible way because really fight if you just use 30 supers, you can finish with 5, and then drops are probably gonna let you crystal flash post fight relatively easily. Frankly, super there is probably better than the lone E tank that exists in Lower Warfare, but you could probably have that debate.
Yep. I mean, the dream for Zeb is the E tank is behind Ridley,
For sure.
but I don't know if you get to play like that. Man, this just sucks. The ammo just doesn't quite work out because there were so few supers in the seed. No, Zeb just has to spend so long.
So he's at 20. He has to so he's got 4 full reserves, right? Which makes this a really awkward point where farming your supers full and then getting enough health to do Ridley feels like it might be better than crystal flashing again, because that's 10 more supers you have to farm.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is what Zeb's gonna do, but it's gonna be scary. You might have to farm a few times after getting to super, or getting enough supers just to build up his health a little bit more. I don't think his reserves are gonna be quite full because the crystal flash doesn't actually fill everything up completely.
Yeah, with 14.4, you do not get all of that. So I think regardless of what is planned here, emptying reserves. Well, I would have emptied down to 100 if I was not crystal flashing here. So that actually does seem to be that his plan is to crystal flash. Yeah.
I mean, he
Like you were
could
saying
crystal
with
flash and then he enters with 25 supers, but again, that's so slow.
Like you said with M2 flying, I actually think he's gonna enter Ridley first. Do you agree?
Yes. MM2 might leave Ridley before Zeb enters. Okay, not that dramatic, but it's not good.
Zeb, not gonna chance any acid damage here. A little bit safer than in other randomizers because you do get some environmental protection from gravity, but no need to play so risky. So, if Zeb enters right now without farming again, he's gonna make us a laughing stock in commentary. But yeah, not what he's gonna do. He wants to get those supers. And got a missile drop and a power bomb drop. Shout outs to the farm bugs. They giveth, they taketh away. They doeth what they want.
Okay. Zeb needs to go.
Decent enough farm, but yeah, with plasma beam and speed, M2 is quite a bit ahead at the overall position of this, even if he's gonna get to this Ridley fight a little bit later. But very nicely done so far. He's not missed to my eyes. He has so much health that taking a hit is definitely bad overall, as I speak the hit into existence, but
I think that super might have gotten blocked by the tail as well, so Zeb might need more.
Okay, this is getting a little dicey. He has to think about crystal flashing after this. Yeah.
He does have full reserves, so That's nice, but he is about to get all those reserves popped. And MM2's really only exploding a couple seconds behind.
And the drops appear first because of reserves. He's not. He can't take the chance that that's the E-tank, because if it's not, he's dead. And frankly, he might be dead regardless. It's really hard to get the supers to be able to crystal flash while also keeping your health high enough to not die.
Yeah, if he gets like a double super drop, he's kind of screwed.
I actually think you maybe want to try to farm one of those. Those are some kind of violas, I assume. I don't know their.
I think those are violas and the bouncy ones are multi-violas, but I could be wrong.
I was gonna say you maybe want to farm one of those while you're in health bomb and get an additional 5, but that's also it feels a little risky. He did do it. He's probably gonna collect it on this one, yeah. But that one he wasn't in health bomb. Got the power bomb, which is still like you want a power bomb in theory overall.
That was close.
We're talking about the person in danger. The other person, MM2, is cruising towards the end. And again, probably is not going to feel good until he hits that done in first place. But it is more than likely the outcome we're going to see. As hopefully Zeb will get out of this successfully. There's a missile drop, which is the worst thing that could have possibly happened. It doesn't help him in any way. Also extremely rare with not full health. If you want to see very, very nice Super Metroid execution, focus on the left runner, because he's going to show that off to the best of his ability in a Seedberg, and he's probably not feeling well. If you want a very intense nail-biting drama, which is going to end in disaster, look on your right.
Yeah, he got hit out of the crystal flash from the bug and couldn't quite get back into the pixel.
If he had got back into the pixel, might have. I mean, that's like, go buy a lottery ticket right now, because that's like the most ridiculous thing ever. So yeah, Ridley back alive, which, as we can see, has no bearing on the final results, but close as he was, that's gotta feel bad.
Yeah, also definitely changes what I was talking about. If MM2 spent a few extra minutes in... Honestly, with how long it took Zeb, like even if he got that crystal flash and MM2 like had to full clear, you know, did everything in wave, did everything in croc, and then like last location at cosine or Indiana Jones, I wonder if that might still not be enough, just because the ammo is so bad that you have to do so much farming before Ridley.
And like, even if they were at the same exact point on the seed right now, MM2 would still have like a minute to saving Turian, something like that, because of plasma. So yeah, he had a lot of time to give, as it turns out, which some of that was at the beginning of the seed with a little bit better movement, as well as, like you were talking about criteria, getting that second charge upgrade immediately instead of going to Billy Mays. That mattered. He had Croc out of the way, his movement was slightly better, and those E-tanks that Zeb got it, Gauntlet, were not on path.
Yeah, it's also worth noting that, you know, had MM2 actually had to full clear Upper Norfair and Croc to get speed, he would have gotten 2 of Ice Wave space, the third one being locked behind, or locked at the reserve tank and wrecked ship. We didn't bother checking it because there was no need. So 2 of those items would have helped a lot. Obviously, Ice would have helped a ton for MM2, but Wave would have been a decent beam upgrade, and Space would have created a non-trivial movement advantage as well. So even if MM2 had full cleared, I think if MM2 had full cleared and Zeb had gotten the Crystal Flash, it still might not be enough, is what I'm saying.
Interesting point from Kip in chat. Zeb could have gotten speed and still tried to do this, and that also might have been better than what he did. Kind of hard to say. One thing I'll say, that Pillar's Room, you're going to be faster. and you don't have to use your supers on metal pirates, and both of those things matter. You also get to speedball out of Wasteland, but we haven't gotten to that point yet.
The other thing Zeb
So-
did, I kind of alluded, or I kind of mentioned it, but I didn't go in depth. He didn't actually go back to the health refill at Screw Attack. He just went straight for the rest of Lower Norfair. So had he done that, he has so much health that he would have been able to Crystal Flash much later, and so that would have actually probably just saved him time. It would have reduced the amount of time he needed to farm, because he would have been close to full health entering this pre-Ridley farm and just would have needed to farm supers.
Yeah, I think if he takes that, because I don't know exactly what his health situation was post pre-pillars, but there's a chance he only needed the Crystal Flash once he got to this farm room. It's like you said, he has so much.
Yeah, actually farmed a 35 this time, so just needs Ridley to be a little bit nice.
Also an interesting way to do the fight. This is what you would see in like a Hundo run, for example, where you just blast the supers and you kind of don't care about anything. It's a lot more comfortable to do an RBO style where you really just want pogos, but as you... Oh, that's a miss. That doesn't really help. He's dead, though.
Yeah, this was a much
Pogos are
cleaner
real
Ridley
comfy.
fight from Zeb.
Yeah, for sure.
This first one was a little bit shambles, actually.
Funny how that 35 supers gives you the confidence to do it in 30, where when you have 30, you're like, yeah, he's going to be able to check this. So this is an E-Tank. He's going to not feel great.
Man.
The risk wasn't worth it. I'm just going to say that definitively. The risk wasn't worth it because he could have lived. But yeah, the old hindsight is 20/20 and all that stuff. It all feels, it's all coming and making its way through your headspace right now. Very, very nice baby skip for MM2. If you're rewatching this in the future, MM2, I feel like I could have talked about you a little bit more than I have, and I'm a little sorry, but I'm sure you would agree that there's no drama left, so as far as the outcome of this one.
Yeah, we haven't really focused on MM2 just blazing through Turian. Had to have some slow Metroid rooms because no Ice Beam. Had to use the power bombs. We'll have to get this speed Zeb skip.
That was pretty good. Nope.
You don't even need to go for it. Yeah, MM2's just gonna ammo the Zebs.
The power of plasma. That's what the P on the icon really stands for. It's not plasma, it's power.
Well, MM2 with all the power he needs. Gotta finish up the game. Plenty of health. Can even do a stand-up if he really wants. Though, I'll be interested to see, because MM2 might feel like a runner of Zeb's caliber could be a few seconds behind, and he wants that extra little bit of time from a stand-up.
Also want to state that he definitely knows 2-Cry, and I think well, I don't know if he needs space, but Spring Ball is one of the things that's part of that setup, so even with the lower beam damage, that definitely saves a non-trivial amount of time. It's like 5 seconds or something like that, versus like the other manip of the stand-up, which, you know, is better than not doing any stand-up. It's got basically one more heated room. And, those reserves are like 320 something, I think. Not in any danger.
MM2 eating some ketchups. And yeah, you see that because Zeb had so much energy, that E-Tank behind Ridley just got him all the way out without even needing to pop the reserves.
Yeah, and he spent some time farming some supers in case he needed a Crystal Flash. Oh, I guess you can make this if you would have manually refilled those reserves. Oh, wait, hold up. Whoa, they were really low. I guess, oh, did he, wait. How does this work? I guess because he Crystal Flashed in a heated room.
MM2 has full reserves, right?
14 full. He is very astute.
Oh wait, no, he already got hit by a rainbow beam. I was so confused. He was damaging so low. I was like, MM2, what are you doing? I thought, because we've seen so many reserves, I was wondering if MM2 had 3 full reserves and was just styling.
I guess I was forgetting that I saw 320 something in reserve on a different Crystal Flash, but that wasn't a non-heat, so that's why I was a little bit taken aback when he popped a reserve and had like 90 health. But it makes
Yeah, I
sense.
mean, healing or doing a crystal flash in a heated room, your health drains so fast that you don't even get very full on your reserves because Zeb had so many E tanks. Also, chat pointing out that he got hit by a bug. So that also did not help.
Zeb's gonna be like going down the elevator or something at the finish of this because he's gonna ship refill, which is gonna take a while as well. Although he doesn't need that much energy. He has to get up West Meridian with only high jump, which he's got grapple, so he doesn't need to grapple to gravity jump. It's gonna be both of the seeds I played yesterday were area, right? I think that's right. I watched that series. I think that's true. If that's the case, he's gonna be 6-0 in area and 0-3 in vanilla map, which I'm sure he will have some words about, regardless of the outcome of the series as a whole.
Definitely hoping for more area in the future. Of course, this is game 1 of a best of 3, so we will see at least one more seed.
I was way off about that elevator. They might be in the ship at the same time. That'd be really fun. Zeb's a little bit too close. Refill's not gonna take that long.
It's like a minute from Red Brinstar elevator to Turian elevator. Obviously, that doesn't include the save, and that does include speed boosters, so Zeb's going to be a bit behind, but
Maybe
yeah, I don't think he's going to make it.
Maybe we get a door high five here at a landing site to Parlor. Hey there, old pal. Funny seeing you here.
Zeb gets the bad news right at the end. Doesn't even make it to the door, actually. The ship opening animation took so long. He opens the door and MM2 runs right out.
That is the end of game 1, MM2 with a first place time of 1 hour, 5 minutes, and 33 seconds. That takes about 30 seconds to enter a forfeit, but he definitely saw...
Zeb just forgot to forfeit according to the race time. He just forfeited now, so... Whoops.
Oh, that is certainly something. Yeah, I guess I was looking at not realizing that they had... Yeah, oh my goodness, that's bad because that means that the race room isn't even just got finished and other things, but yeah, so...
Well,
yeah,
means we've got 10 minutes until the next one.
For sure.
So if y'all need a break, need some water, need some snacks, stretch your legs, whatever else, now is a great time to do it. You have any final words before we go on our own break between games before game 2?
I was just gonna say we can go ahead and let these credits roll before we end this episode, and I was gonna read through this chat and see if there was anything interesting revealed.
I do want to know what the beams were, or more specifically, I just want to know what item they left behind at Wreck Ship, because the other two were at Croc.
Okay. I just found out where the rest of the items are. I'll let the tension build for chat.
Yeah, I didn't look. It's building for me as well.
Oh, interesting. That's cool. Inertia actually posts the next race run in the chat of the current one. Shout outs to Inertia and Kupo.
Well, yeah, Kubo's done great work with the Inertia bot. I think it's being used in the Map Rando tournament as well, and honestly, we could start doing it in vanilla, even though it's not really that important. Just auto make race rooms.
Yep.
Shout outs to Kupo.
298 door transitions. I've never looked at that number, but I mean I know that was high because I watched the race, but I wonder how high that is compared to what you would hope for.
I don't think it was crazy high. Like, I think that would be normal for like an area seed, but obviously in vanilla map it's a little bit less. So
Ice and Wave, those are the
grapple
crocodile items
and
at
croc
Grapple and
BBs.
Croc BBs. And Space Jump is at Rextra Preserve.
Yeah, so had MM2 had to go to Croc, like Speed Booster and Ice were swapped, he would have had the full beam combo. Would have been even better.
Yeah, that'll do it for us here in race number 1. Runners are setting up. The seed has been rolled, and we will be back with you in